My name is Kamanzi Nicholas and I represented Busitema University in the Computer Science for High School 2013. I want to see a generation of more people developing their own applications. I want to see a generation of people not asking me to do something for them, but doing it themselves. And I'm accomplishing this by, in this computer science for high school that we had, we introduced teachers to programming with Scratch. Scratch helps them to do more of the imagining and creativity, and that teaches their students that are in high schools to develop applications themselves than them trying to do them for them. We did a survey when we were inviting these high school teachers, and we asked them what they would want us to see, what they would want to see in their in the workshop that we are going to hold. Most of them told us they want to connect a computer peer-to-peer. They wanted to assemble and disassemble a computer, and so we kept our content to their needs. That's one of the things we do, but we also added something because we added software and we introduced them to Google Apps in education, like Google Calendars, Gmail, how they can interact with their students via Hangouts. So we also think of some things that are going to help them, so we include them. We also included Scratch programming, which will help them and their students to do basic programming on their own. The feedback I got from the teachers was so nice. At one point, teachers came to me saying, "This is very nice, we thank you for inviting us to come and teach us these things." And then at another point, some teacher told me, "You should come to our schools and teach these same skills to our students," which I found very rewarding as an organizer of computer science for high schools. In my opinion, I think in 2020 we shall have more people developing their own applications based on their local content than hiring other people to develop these applications for them. And we think if we continue with the follow-ups of computer science for high schools and we see most of the people doing the basic programming on their own, we shall have achieved this goal in like 7 years to come. Some of the topics that we talked about, we had networking, we broke it down to hardware, and we also broke it down to software. This we did based on the feedback we had got from teachers on some of the things they wanted to see. In the hardware part, we talked about assembling and disassembling a computer. We talked about the basic hardware components. We showed them how the motherboard looks like inside and how to connect different cables inside the computer and to make it work. And then in the networking, we helped them terminate cables, straight through and crossover cables, and help them transmit data from one computer to another via a peer-to-peer network. We also introduced them to basic Scratch programming, and then we helped them to go through some of the Google apps for education. We took them through Google Hangouts, we took them through Google Calendars and how they work, how they can schedule some of the meetings they have between them and their students. We also talked to them about the Gmails and how to connect them. That's part of the topics that we covered in the computer science high school in Busitema.
You gonna
The teachers we interacted with were from Eastern Uganda, from the districts of Tororo and Busia. And what we learned from these teachers is that they are not exposed enough to some of the basic computing skills that they are supposed to have. Then this makes it hard for them to pass on the right knowledge to their students. We also found out that they lack resources like the basic softwares, like the networking softwares like Packet Tracer, like Scratch, and then the basic, what I consider the basic need, which is the internet. Most of them think it's very expensive, and most of them in their schools they don't have, which was a very big challenge. Yeah, the number of people who turned up for this workshop blew my mind. And then one of the surprises that I don't want to miss that happened on this year's workshop, I remember we introduced some teachers to Scratch programming, and then one of the teachers used some of the basic knowledge of pollination, where a bee flies from one flower to another pollinating, and then the flower grows into something, and then brought it to Scratch. They were able to make a bee fly from one flower, and then the flower changes color to show that the flower has been pollinated. Me, I think, to someone who did not Scratch and they were just starting, making that bee fly from nowhere to pollinate a flower, putting that basic concept of pollination into a computer program, it meant so much. And if this can be passed on to their students, we hope to see more projects coming up and more creativity, which I think, to me as someone who organized this workshop, is a goal well achieved. Busitema University got its first computer science for high schools grant or gift this year. So personally, we have not done our follow-up. So we think when you do our follow-up, we shall see exciting projects come out of what we taught these teachers, because we are going to do a post-evaluation. So, and we think when we continue doing this, at the end we shall be seeing very, very nice projects come out of this computer science for high schools. Thank you very much. You gonna see young, can't you want it?